A shalom. All praise, honor, and glory goes unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel, men, women, and children. Shalom. All right. And as you see on the screen, I have a brief, a small article pulled up in which, I've been hearing about, food stamps, SNAP. All right. The benefits being cut off, a possibility coming this November, in which I think we're like a week away. All right, in which currently we are still in the government shutdown. All right, it's a lot taking place upon earth. We know prophecy, all right, is taking place nonetheless. All right, and prophecy, all right, looms toward, all right, a monetary financial decay of America, a switching of the digital of this monetary system into a digital system, which is spoken about and prophesied in the book of Revelation 13, in which, this will come up to pass upon earth before the kingdom of heaven is, all right, established upon earth, all right, after the destruction of America. But right, I want to get into a brief lesson honing in on the SNAP benefits and who is this going to domino affect, who is this going to affect directly, all right, more importantly, all right, the Israelite woman, all right, okay, all women, because America has took on, all right, being the titty, so to speak, for the women, all right, and the government takes care of the majority of the women. They're aided, they're put up, they're encouraged to get a degree, be independent, separate from their man, specifically talking about the women of our nation, all right, but all nations, all the women of the nations take on that mindset. But more importantly, the so-called Negro woman, so-called Latina, and so-called Native American woman, all right, confides in, all right, this system, all right? They don't see anything wrong with the benefits, the perks, all right, from not being up under the hedge of a man, all right, and partaking in the Babylonian wine. All right, so therefore, Yahweh Shemel Shai intentionally has everything going the way it is for a reason. All right, so it's not a coincidence that the majority of these women are going to be affected negatively, all right, by these prophecies, all right, because just as the Israelite men were the Lord's woman, Lord willing will that elect remnant, all right, according to the book of Jeremiah, and not just saying that from what we, our belief, our mindset, all right, what we commanded to do, show faith, do the works, put on as the elect, minister, all right, the word, feed, edify, serve Yahweh Shemel Shai, be an example of believer, and that's in our conduct. So the women are going to be stripped, all right, and made to submit unto their natural order, just like the Lord is doing with us, all right, with us repenting, submitting, humbling ourselves and going through this process, the Lord willing, being beautified with salvation, all right, we're going through this process. So the women will be brought low, and they will be saved through childbearing, and they will get up under the man of the Lord to receive salvation. That's the only way you can be delivered. All right, you can't, show your ass, or you can't do anything but get into your natural order to be delivered. So that's what's happening with the Israelite men, and that's what's going to happen to the women. So these goodies, these benefits in which they've been able to receive, all right, with the women's liberation and feminism movement, is going to be stripped. All right, SNAP, WIC, all right, food stamps. That's a part of the benefits or the goodies that the government has been given. Let's grab this article real quick and grab a few precepts through the Spirit, Lord, willing this to be edifying. All right. It says, will SNAP benefits be sent in November? Inflection point is near, USDA says. All right. I believe that's U.S. Drug Administration. All right. It says, millions of Americans, Babylonians, who rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program could be left scrambling for food come November if the government shutdown continues. So we're about a week, a few days, a week and a few days away from November. All right. It says SNAP, sometimes known as food stamps, is a federal program that provides low-income families monthly benefits to afford healthy food. Funds for the program are allocated monthly, so October benefits went out as usual despite the government shutdown. All right. It says, however, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees the SNAP program, said earlier this month that there will not be enough funding to pay all benefits for November if the shutdown continues. So this is all orchestrated It's an imploding. All right. If Yahweh Shema Shah allows it to take place, it's definitely implode from the left-hand side of Yahweh Shema Shah via the wicked, because this government is ran by Esau Edom. All right. And the elite run the government. All right. They don't abide by the rules, but they make the laws. All right. And they break it. And their motto is order out of chaos. So they have to implode, all right, this current system to try to establish the new world order, which is the CHIP. All right. It says some government agencies effectively shut down beginning October 1st after congressional leaders failed to agree on federal funding allocations for the 2026 fiscal year. As of October 22nd, the shutdown is the second longest ever. All right. It says, here's what to know. It says, will SNAP benefits go out in November? There would not be enough funding to pay the entirety of SNAP benefits in November if the shutdown continues, the USDA said in a letter to state agencies dated October 10th. All right, so this could very much bring in the start of pandemonium, all right, and peril and mayhem, on top of, you know, the skirmishes of the other heathen nations, war knocking at the door. All right, this can very well spiral out of control and lead to more robberies and increase in violence. All right. And this is a bad thing for Yvette. All right. And Veronica. All right. Speaking about the Israelite woman, this is very bad because you're no longer going to get to depend on Babylon the Great. All right. You're going to have to be what? Dependent. You're going to yearn and long for a man, and better yet, an elect man. All right. Of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. So let's go here to Isaiah 32 real quick. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. All right. The king is Yahweh Shai, and the princes that's, you know, being raised up, all right, are going through the furnishing process or the preparation, the process of preparation, now catching hell, preaching, teaching, all right, going through these lows, all right, being brought through situations to judge is the hopeful elect remnant. All right. It says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a rock, of a great rock in a weary land. All right. So a man, all right, what kind of man? An elect man, a man that has Yahweh Shai as his foundation. All right. He's going to be a covert from the tempest, these evils in which we see, all right, coming, arising here. All right. All right, because what does the scriptures tell us in the book of Isaiah 10? We shall no more stay upon Egypt, all right, and him that smote us, but we shall stay upon Yahweh Shema Shai in truth. All right, so the time is coming to where we're going to have to fully depend on the Lord. All right, show our faith. Babylon was kept up so we can be, work, sustain ourselves for the sake of this gospel's sake. But the Lord's about to shut it down, take his word away, and we're going to have to fully walk on water. All right. As Peter did, show our faith, all right, in the midst of these evils, all right? And the woman, your only hedge of protection is an elect man, an Israelite man, an elect Israelite man of Yahweh Shema Shai, chosen from the foundation, all right, or the beginning of the time, all right, before earth was, brought forth, all right? And we're hoping we're of those spirits. That's why we're giving diligence to make our calling and election sure. All right. Nonetheless, all right. Isaiah 32 and 2 again, it says, and a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. You see? Let's jump down to verse 12. Isaiah 32 and 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Right. So the Lord is slowly but surely peeling back the comfort zone of you women. Let's grab she that liveth in pleasure. All right. Liveth. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. It says, but she who lives for pleasure is dead, even while she is still alive, even while she still lives. All right, because the women of our nation in this time period, they've been put on a pedestal, praised, all right, cater to. And really they got, not shit, all right, but it's an illusion, all right, of freedom in which they really don't want that, all right. But the Lord is going to, strip them of any mental pride, anything that they think they have, all right, any sense of power, all right, that they feel that they have, that America has, all right, sustained and given them a comfort with. The Lord's going to strip it away from them. It's going to start with them, not having the government to depend upon, because mainly our women are the ones that consume these government benefits and aids, man. You look at the statistics, our women confide in this system, man. Majority of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American women confide in the system. They're confident in the system, all right? And they disassociate themselves with the men because, we're seen as weak, all right? Even though we're our vitality, our spirit, we're the number one, but on a world scale, financially, all right, we're weak. But our power is in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, and he's about to get ready to showcase that upon earth with his elect men, all right? Nonetheless, let's go back to Isaiah 32 in verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease, right? Only the women that's set to be delivered. All right. Scripture say, prophesy to the wind, O son of man. So, right, we speaking to everybody, but only a certain amount of women are going to be delivered and set and join with the elect men. All right. It says, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail. The gathering shall not come. What's the vintage? What they're used to receiving. All right. Oh, America, we good. I'm a bad bitch. I'm going to get a degree. I'm going to get these stamps. Girl, you better go downtown and get that. The vintage shall fail. All right. The vintage shall fail. Let's look up this word vintage. All right. Vintage etymology. All right. I don't really speak about the woman or not because, we're speaking to the men, build up the men. All right. But hey, the time is here. We're in a government shutdown. The world is in earthquakes, tsunamis, people dying. He's got these propaganda with his Esau machine. Esau turning up his propaganda machine, lies, psyops, hoaxes, false assassination. We're right here. All right. And you women being stripped of your comfort is nigh, man. The men being sent off in the war, second Esdras. All right. That's coming also. All right, we're going to get there, Lord, when it says vintage, harvest of grace, annual product of the grape harvest. So in this sense, the annual benefits that you're used to, the monthly income, the monthly benefits that you're used to receiving is not going to be there. All right, it's going to be non-existent. All right, Salakia. Making sure do not disturb. It says, from old French vintage, vine harvest, yield from a vineyard, a gathering of grapes, yield of grapes. So that monthly aid, that monthly, benefit is not going to come. All right. Whatever it may be, SNAP, WIC, Social Security, whatever it is going to stop, going to be cut off because federally they can't afford it. All right. Why? Because they want to bring in this chip. They want to bring in MOTB. This is the goal of everything. They want to persecute the men of the Lord. All right. And the Lord's going to make them do that according to prophecy. All right. But you women are going to be blindsided. We're out here yelling the prophecies to you. Oh, them niggas crazy, girl. Don't mind them niggas. Whatever the fuck they say or think. All right. But the Lord's going to put it in your face. All right. Everything is going to be living color. You're going to smell it and see and live out the prophecies. All right. Because the Lord going to make it happen. All right. Let's go here real quick when it come to mind. Let's finish this. Isaiah 32. In the 11, it says, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip ye, make ye bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. All right. What do Yahweh Shah tell a woman? All right. Weep not for me, weep for yourselves, O daughter of Jerusalem, and woe unto them that give suck in those days. All right. Isaiah 32 and 11. All right. So the Lord is going to put that order, and these judgments is going to do that, man. The Lord stripping America. All right. Humbling these women is going to make everything go back into its rightful order and place. All right. The respect, the honor, the reverence of a man is going to be brought back into earth. All right. This is Isaiah 30, because these men are going to be running buck wild, kidnapping. It's going to be carnage. All the worst scary movies times infinity, bro. The Lord is a terrible God. All right? In the earth, in this life, is going to be, worse than any movie, that we can refer to or reverence to. All right? Yahweh Shema Shah is going to bring his judgments, all right, to pass, and they're going to be live in effect. All right? Like a play, but this is going to be real life. All right? This is Isaiah 32 and 12. It says, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns, briars, and upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. All right. Let's go to women shall mourn, having no husbands. You see, and hey, if you go downtown to any major city, or every major city here in America, Babylon, what are the women doing? All right, frolicking the streets, gadding abroad. All right, not taking note of, news and what's taking place upon earth. All right, in a stupor. All right, scriptures say the Lord have not imparted unto her wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the book of Job. So the men are set up, the hopeful elect men, starting with the prophets. We're set to blow this trumpet, shine this light upon the hill, Yahweh Shai, and warn the world. But they're not going to get it until it's too late. All right, let me see. Bear with me. The one that came to mind. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 10. It says, Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 9, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Right? So, hey man, that's just scary. So the message we're preaching through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah is not of ourselves or anything I have done, or any studying, or it's all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Shema Shah. Lord willing, we make it, I make it. All right, but these people are not going to hear this gospel because the Lord don't want them to convert and be healed, and he don't want them to be warned. All right, they have a part in playing and being judged in this lifetime with this body that they possess, in the breath that they take. All right, and we're hoping and praying, man, that we make it on the chair, bro. All right, and be protected. Even if we got to lay down our life for the name of the Lord and the truth, the Lord willing, it's a respectable, honorable. All right, we die with integrity, believing, all right, to get the crown. But hey, these women are going to suffer. These men out here are going to suffer. They're proud. They're toting the 30 sticks. All right. The women are sluttish and whorish. Hey, so these things are needed. These things are needed upon earth. All right. We don't feel bad when this shit. We hope this shit and fucking get destroyed, bro. Being and existing here and having to turn a blind eye to wickedness and have to, be wise and not say and judgment not go forth, and we're not perfect with our God. We intend and hope and pray that we, maintain our belief through these things, but this shit needs to be destroyed. All right. So we can experience righteousness. All right. How to really be a man upon earth. All right. True judgment, manhood, family. All right. Love. Everybody talk about the kingdom of heaven is going to be love. Time of peace, a time of war, a time of killing, a time of refraining, Ecclesiastes. All right. And now we're in a time to, let's grab at a time and place for everything. No, that's it. Let's finish this. All right. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 11, it says, then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without men, and the land be utterly destroyed. All right, so this is how long they're going to stay asleep for. Okay. Let's go here to 2 Ezra 16 and verse 32. 2 Ezra 16:33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. All right. So the women, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to intentionally, all right, make it hard on the women. He's going to make it hard on everybody, all right, that don't believe on him, that's worshiping idols, that's wicked, and not acknowledging this truth that's going out. All right. But the Lord has a special judgment for these women because they're lifted up. All right. They're lifted up. All right. They're full of themselves. All right. And the Israelite men, we were full of ourselves at the Lord's woman, going out worshiping idols when the Lord cleaned us up, beautified us. All right. Give us all of the sense. All right. We was honorable, had a reputation among the nations because of our God. And he brought us low. So this is what the Lord is going to do to the women of our nation. All right. Just a brief lesson. The Lord will edifying. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. Peace and blessings unto the elect. And with that being said, keep it balanced. It is going to be women saved for the sake of childbearing. All right. And they're going to be put with the men of the Lord. All right. You read in the book of Tobit. All right. The Lord showed mercy upon, the young lady, Tobias' wife, when they prayed. All right, you have the women, all right, in the time of Noah, Noah's wife, his sons and their wives were spared. All right, you had Lot and his daughters for the sake of keeping that seed and keeping Lot alive and bringing forth Moab and Ammon, which Lot was the righteous, all right, in that testimony that was left for us. All right. But the Lord, he's perfect in his doing. All right. So he's not going to just kill everybody. He's perfect balance, as the scriptures say. All right. But it's a rude, vicious awakening. All right. For the women over here in this Western hemisphere. Lord willing, this edifying. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, Shalom.